Hi everybody. Am I audible and visible both? Am I audible and visible both? Quick question if we could have a reply in the chat section. Okay, so Harshit says yes. What about the others, guys? Is there anyone still live? Can someone tell us if we are audible and visible both? Hi, Abhi. Okay, what about the others? Do we have only two people live? I get to see a larger number of audience. Hello, Harsh. Okay, what about the others, guys? Quick hellos, please. Can we have more greetings? Hi, Sumanata. Hi, Vishali. Great. Good to see everyone here. Okay, now, guys, before we begin, to quickly tell you about today's session, we'll be having first of all, let me quickly tell you about few announcements from our end. But before we begin, the idea behind the content to be covered in today's session is that we'll be telling you more about how you can go ahead and crack interviews at top companies, right? There is a structure that you have to follow. So in case you wish to go for interviews next time, what sort of answers should you give, what should be your body language and questions like that, right? So we'll be taking a few tips and tricks to crack interviews like that. Also, how you are going. I think you're asking me how you're doing, so I'm doing amazing. Okay, now, and thank you for asking. Okay, hi Akash. So, also, guys, let me, before we begin with today's session with Stuti, let me quickly tell you about a scholarship test that we'll be having tomorrow. So, I had to make this announcement today that we'll be having AccioSat tomorrow. Has anyone here registered for AccioSat? You can type in a yes or a no in the chat section. Has anyone registered for AccioSat? Okay, there is no yes or a no. Can I quickly get to know? Okay, Harsh says yes. Oh, good. I am pretty pleased to see that there are people who've registered for AccioSat. Great. Okay, so Pawan has registered. Hi, Yogesh. Surat says no. Sumalata says no. So I believe most of us do not know about AccioSat, guys. So AccioSat is our 100% scholarship test, which is more about aptitude. So let me quickly go ahead and show you how you can register and what AccioSat actually is, right? So, okay, this is my screen. Now, guys, if you go to AccioJob.com, that is the website, I'll go to the scholarship test section, right? So once I go to the scholarship test section, it says that you can earn scholarships up to 100% on all our courses. What it means is that once you go ahead and register for this test, you can register for this test from here itself. I can share the link in the chat section as well. So you can give the test from 11 a.m. till 11 p.m. tomorrow, right? It is free of cost. It would be to judge your aptitude, right? You would be judged based on your aptitude skills. So about AccioSat, quickly giving you the test highlights. It is one of the largest online scholarship tests in India, right? And what happens is that it is an interview-based aptitude test. So you get 1 hour to answer all of these questions, and everyone coming from all sorts of backgrounds, any graduation year, everyone is eligible to join in, right? Now, what sort of scholarships do you get? What is the scholarship for our courses? What if you go ahead and get rank 1, you get 100% scholarship. From rank 2 to 5, you get 50% scholarship on joining the main batch, right? And then from rank 6 to 20, you get 35% scholarship. Then 25% from 21 to 100, 20% from 101 to 250, and 15% from 251 to 500. So this is how it goes. Now, these are the winners of last time's AccioSat, of June AccioSat. Okay, quickly telling you more about, 1 second. Yes, guys, in case you want कि AccioSat होता क्या है, let's have a quick idea, right? In case you wish to have a quick idea about AccioSat, you can go ahead and attempt last month's AccioSat. This is not, again, You can attempt it anytime, right? Once you attempt it, you get an idea about AccioSat kya hota hai. You will be asked basic aptitude questions, not very basic, right? Medium difficulty level aptitude questions, but this would also help you with your aptitude. So in case you want to know how my aptitude skills are, you should give this test. So yes, this is the mock test for AccioSat. You can give it from here itself. Then, okay, telling you more about, okay, let me answer a few quick questions, though you can read this on the website itself. I'll quickly explain it to you before we begin with the class. Okay, so who is eligible for AccioSat, guys? Anyone and everyone is eligible to give AccioSat. There is no hard and fast selection. There is no hard and fast eligibility criteria for the test, right? Then, can you use your phone to take part in AccioSat? Yes, you can use your mobile phones and tablets. It is an MCQ based exam. And what will be the syllabus for this exam? Which is something most people would like to know. So it would cover quantitative ability, quantitative aptitude, and logical reasoning. So these are few skills that are required when you go for jobs as well, right? Quantitative aptitude is something that you would need to know in order to give written tests, or maybe in case you're giving government exams. So quantitative aptitude is something, in case you go for any field, you're expected to know something about it. So yes, this will include questions about quantitative aptitude and logical reasoning. Logical reasoning is again something very similar. Again, if anyone has given any sort of competitive exam, you would know what logical reasoning is. Quantitative aptitude, the difference between logical reasoning and quantitative aptitude, if the name suggests, is that quantitative is more about mathematics, guys. You will be asked to have more mathematical operations, perform more mathematical operations here, right? And you are judged based on how quickly you answer these questions. Then we have logical reasoning, wherein you use your brain to reason out something, right? You are given a statement. Suppose you are told that you are given a statement that um, okay, that this is a car, right? And this car travels travels uh, usually travels every day to a particular location, right? And it takes this much time to travel to this location, right? It takes 1 hour to travel to a particular location. How much time will it take on a busy day, right? And now abhi quantitatively नहीं निकालना होगा. You would be given few conditions कि कौन कौन सी कंडीशन उस बिजी डे पे और कार्स कितने कैसे जा रही थी, और कार्स को कितना टाइम लग रहा था, कितना डिले हो रहा था, राइट? यू विल बी गिवन ऑल ऑफ दीज कंडीशंस, एंड बेस्ड ऑन ऑल ऑफ दीज कंडीशंस दैट यू आर गिवन, यू विल बी अप्लाइंग योर लॉजिक एंड देन रीजनिंग इट आउट. तो आपको एक करेक्ट ऑप्शन चूज करना होता है. दैट इज समथिंग दैट यू डू इन लॉजिकल रीजनिंग. ओके, नाउ आई बिलीव यू आर हियर. डू वी हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस? Link. Okay, Vaishali, I believe you're asking for the link. I'll quickly share with you the link to this page. You can read all of this from here itself, guys. Here is the link. Okay, I believe the link is there in the chat section for everyone to see. Now, guys, coming to my next question. I'll be taking 4 more minutes and then I'll hand over the session to Suti. Now, will the questions be MCQ based? We've already answered this. Yes, they're MCQ based. And when are the test results announced? So once you give the test results will be announced within the next 48 hours, right? You'll receive a mail from our end. And you can also check it on the website. And how much is the registration fee for AccioSat? There is no registration fee as such. Everyone is eligible to join. So in case you're checking your aptitude skills, how good you are at aptitude, and in case you wish to get a scholarship on joining the main batch, that is AccioSat is something for you. Okay, now this is more or less everything about AccioSat, about AccioJob FAQs is something we've covered. I believe this is it, guys. There is nothing extra that I have to cover. Just that you can register now using this link. That is something that I've already provided to you in the chat section. So you'll find the link to the page. You can register from there itself. Let me quickly provide you. 1 second. Let me quickly provide you another. So yes. Okay. Let me quickly share with you the link one final time. Okay. So MSK is saying I like mathematics subject very well. So why not give the test? So I'll just say, guys, everyone who's here, you should go ahead give the test. Even if you're eligible for scholarship or you're not, who knows, right? Let's just quickly find out by giving out this test. So tomorrow 11 a.m. till 11 p.m. you can give this test. Now, coming back to where it starts, let me quickly build the base for today's session. Let me give you an idea about today's session. Okay, guys, I have to ask a question. And the question is that how many of you are here for the board speaker? Very honest answers only. Does anyone know about the board speaker thing? How many of us are here for that? Vaishali says, what's the time? It is 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, Harshit says me. What about the others, guys? Who all are here for the board speakers? Okay, so I believe only Harshit is here for the board speaker right now. Okay, good to know that. Any which ways, guys. So the thing is that once we are going ahead with the session, you get a chance to win both speakers live, right? Once you go ahead, you have to be very active throughout the session and make sure you give responses that actually make sense, right? Please do not give any senseless responses. Stuti, who's our instructor and who will be our guest for today, she'll be taking the session. So make sure that in case you're asked something, you reply honestly and forming the right sort of answers, right? Make sure your answers make sense. Only then you get something. Okay. Now, Sahil says, I'm here for learning purposes. So good to see that, Sahil. I believe that is a pretty great thing to say. Okay. Now, are we ready to go ahead, guys? Are we ready to begin with the class? Make sure you are active throughout. Okay, there's no one saying yes. Are we ready for the class? Quick yes or a no. Can we begin with the class right now? So I believe we are yet to find active people. यार ऐसा ना हो we would have to find we have only two people and then we have to decide a winner among them. Let's not have that. Great. So I received three yeses until now. More yeses to come. I'll wait for two more yeses. Rishi, Yogesh, two more to go, guys. Two more yeses and we begin. Okay, Shrutika says yes. And one more yes, please. Okay, Rishi, that's a repeat. Can we have one more yes from a new person? Say hi to Niharika. How do you know, Abby? How do you know Niharika? Are you in the main batch? Okay, Surat says yes. Great. Thank you so much, guys. Going ahead, handing over the session to Stuti. Stuti, are you here?
Yes, absolutely. I am here in a moment. You can see me too. I hope so.
Yes. We can see you.
Perfect, perfect. A very, very warm welcome to everybody, and thank you so much, Shikha, for delivering that important information to us. Okay, let's get started, everybody. But before that, I welcome you all to the session. A very, very warm welcome. I hope these 2 hours that I'm going to be with you, I make them very fruitful and useful for you. And you don't think at the end of the day, oh my God, the time was wasted. I just hope that. And let's start on that positive point. But can I get some highs? Can I see who all are really interactive and there for me to listen? Can I get a high? Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait till you guys give me a high and a heads on that, okay, you can go ahead, ma'am. We'll start off this session. Okay. Yes, yes. Okay. Perfect. Hello, everybody. Hello. Okay. Yes, of course. I will say something about me. Who am I and why am I actually here? Okay. So, people, if you've been there in past and you have seen my classes, I have been into this process of taking these master classes, these boot camps, and a lot of different sessions with Accio, the soft skill sessions where I'm taking all the mentorship and the mock and all of that sessions. And to be very specific, if I talk more about myself, I have trained teachers and students. So I think I'm eligible enough to give you a guidance about what corporate sector looks like. Having said that, I suppose my verbal communication should not be actually the point of view to judge. Let's see if my content and my explanation is something that you will say that, okay, I believe that you've been somewhere. So I will leave that on you. You are allowed to judge me the entire time that I'm here, but my main motive for the entire session would be that I'll leave no stone unturned for you, that there shouldn't be a question that you should go home or sit back with. That is just one motive that I have. I will be discussing certain number of questions while I go ahead with my PPT, but there's a trend that I would like to start with. So whenever I put people into an uncomfortable situation, and this is particularly in respect to the interview, I am talking about any random question when I put up to them, I see that there is a lot of resistance from their part to answer it at the first time. So, since you're here and I am here to guide you and help you out with that, let's begin with that. And I'll share my screen, and I hope that you guys will participate and we look forward to this. And I hope this will turn out to be a good session. Let's see. Also, if you can see my screen, please give me yes. Assuming that you can, I hope so you can. Let me go back to this. Yes, perfectly. Hi Sai, hi Sheikh, Abdul Malik. Hi everybody, hi Suma, hi Ashwarya. I'm so sorry that the hi was missed by me. Hi Suraj, I am good. I hope the same for you. J motivation, okay. Hi, I'm fine with that name. Yogesh, hi. There was Harshit. Everybody, a warm welcome and a I hope I make this time useful. Okay, let's start with this group discussion. Now, you will say, ma'am, actually, group discussions don't happen now often. Okay, so why are we doing this? Now, the major reason for me to do it, as I said, is to introduce you to an uncomfortable situation, which might also be the case in your actual interview. Don't expect and go that, okay, the first question they're going to ask is just one, and that is, tell me about yourself. No. If I am an interviewer, I might try to trick you. Why would I ask a question which makes me think that, okay, this is not exactly what I want to ask you? I know you know a lot about yourself. So let's start with this. This is the question, roots or wings? First, let's understand what's roots or wings. Can anybody tell me what is root, what is wing, and why am I being philosophical? What is this question aiming at? So if the interviewer just says, okay, as you enter and he says, hi, let's suppose I am interviewing Shubham and I say, hi Shubham. Before we actually start with the entire question answering round, I would like you to answer my question of whether roots or wings. I would like to see what questions and what answers would you actually give. This is actually a very, very common question, to be very frank about it. But I want to take it because I am hoping that this question is not something, or the type of question is not something that you're well aware of as of now. So let's start. Yes, please. Roots or wings? Whatever first you understand, you can tell me that. I would like the class to be a bit more interactive if I can have more answers. Otherwise, of course, I will follow up by explaining it. But then I would like to have some answers from you guys. Roots or wings? Let's see. Okay. So nobody could choose between roots or wings. Is that the condition? Is that so difficult? Roots or wings? Roots is what? Roots of main in any works. Okay. Do you want to say that roots are the main thing in any kind of work? Roja. Roots, Harsh. Okay. Abby, let's focus on the class for now. I think roots mean deep conversation. Okay, Sahil. Yes, Roja, I got your point. Roots. Harsh, can you please elaborate on why roots? Wings. Perfect. I have a different sort of answer. Please tell me why. Okay, you've chosen one. I'll just give you a brief reference and then maybe you can talk more about it. So, I had an answer from Sahil where he wanted to say that roots means deep communication or conversation happening. Okay, if I would be there, I would understand that roots means the basics. Right. There you go, Suraj. Both are necessary for certain conditions. So if I would be talking about it, then I'll be choosing a very diplomatic answer where I will mention to the interviewer that what does it mean when I say the word roots? It means the basic conditions. The conditions that keep you grounded, the conditions that keep you very much attached to who you are. If I ask a very philosophical question of my identity, right, Rishi, perfect, that's the word. If I ask the question of my identity, that is exactly what the roots are. What is it that I am? What is it that is my ground level and the basis of my entire communication is? So that is all about the roots that I have. Coming on to the wings, the technologies that you gain, that is wings. The growth that you have in life, that is the wing. That is the wing I'm talking about. So if now I ask you to choose between roots or wings, would you like to give a diplomatic answer, or would you still stick to your previous choices? And those who haven't participated by giving a choice, you have the chance to do it now. So please do. Harsh says, ma'am, because roots give strength to main body and also it's 80% of the whole body. Perfect, Harsh. But I suppose just sticking with the roots might not be very helpful. I've learned a foundational base required for a project or for my career, right? Now I need wings, wings that will help me achieve something. I would not like to be a trainee, right? Every time I enter a class, of course not. Why? Every time I am in an organization, my wings would allow me to flow, allow me to fly high. Yes, the wings are of freedom. Correct, Rishi. I like the philosophical thoughts that you share, Rishi. They pretty much resonate with what I think of them. Wings is not basic of any work. Of course, they're not the basics. I completely agree. Roots are the basics. But wings will help you get the progress and success that you might be uh, working for or probably might be wanting. So, yes, absolutely. Now, when you are answering, please make sure that you are explaining both the sides and then being a bit diplomatic. Can I afford to be diplomatic in these questions? Absolutely, yes. So, how would I go about? Maybe I'll say that if I talk about roots and wings, I'll first of all give the definition that roots are something that lay the foundation. And I suppose I would never like to go away from my roots because they form my identity and basis of who I am. If I go about to my wings, they will, of course, help me to strengthen the position that I currently have and even create better opportunities for myself. Now, if I had to choose, I would say that roots would be something I would stick to in the primary years of my career. And then I would focus more on the wings because roots is something that I have built strong enough now. Now it's my wings that have to be flown off. Okay. So, yes, they are necessary at some point of time and it can help to change our identity. Correct, Suraj. Okay. So, now that we are into this session with a quick discussion over this topic, let's move on to this basic question. I actually don't want to bore you with this simple question of introduction that is going to come up. And I know that trillions of videos have been there and you guys already know a lot. I would just ask you guys what should not be a part of the introduction. If you are an HR, what would you not like from a candidate to mention? Just tell me that. And then maybe I'll go ahead with the introduction. Whosoever has any bit of chance, or even if by imagination you can just tell me that, okay, this is not something that you can mention. Of course, I'll go slow. I'll go slow. If I'm very fast. Okay, I'll go slow. I'll take that one. Okay. So, yeah, what do you think? What is the introduction like? What shouldn't be there? And something that could probably set the tone off for the interview and may not be actually very helpful. If you can help me out with that. Let's see. There's some questions, there's some answers that are to be given, I suppose. Where are the candidates? Where are the people? Personal, yes, personal talks or informal talks. Okay, quite correct. Absolutely. That's a big no that you shouldn't be mentioning any personal statements. Uh, Probably about the family, I would say, because the introduction is very personal. But yeah, I understand what you're pointing at. Others, anybody, what shouldn't be there? So I'm assuming that you guys are not very well aware of the introduction, and hence I'll be starting off from the very, very beginning of how to go ahead for the introduction. Can I get a yes for that at least? Now you have to decide on one side, right? Either you give me don'ts or either you give me a yes that, okay, take us from the beginning. You can't be somewhere in the middle. And if you are, then you can please tell me a yes, because middle is no place to be. Yes. Okay, cool. Cool, Harshit. Cool, Sahil. Suraj. Let's go ahead then. So this was the HR on preparation that we are starting with. Okay. Yes, Raikan. Yes, Rosha. Okay, let's get started with this. Can I move my pointer here and there? No, I cannot. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about this, I am just trying to mention this to you Why is this question being asked to you? Let's understand. You have heard a lot of terms, awareness about yourself, this and that. It's actually a very open ended question. Introduce yourself. As rightly said by Sahil, that informal talks or personal conversation or personal, something very personal shouldn't be mentioned. This is the intelligence that you get when you actually face a mock interview or you face an actual interview, right? So they just want to see, do you have the intelligence to actually say what is required for the job, or is it that you are in the habit of blabbering, coming up and just saying whatever you want? Is that the state of mind? So now, for those who are thinking that okay, it's just a question of self awareness, no, it's also a question of triggering you to put you in a situation where they'll be asking so many questions from the introduction that you will be confused that okay, are we going forward with this or not? That is one question, that is one reason. Okay. And what all things are important for us, right? Now, remember that the introduction has to be very conversational. So, if I am talking to you, I am giving my introduction to you. It cannot be that I learn, hi, my name is Stuti. I put up from Delhi and then I've done my course in this, I've done my MBA, I've done my this, I've done my that, and now I'm here teaching you soft skills trainer for past 4 years. No, no, that cannot be exactly the entire scenario as to how the things have to be structured. You have to be in a very, conversational mode with a lot of hand gestures. So when I talk to you, make sure that your body language is something that's not disappointing the interviewer, but be very careful of the time. Yes, sometimes what happens, I tell people that you share your information and you start off with your name and where you put up from, and then you go to educational details. I don't know how, but you guys think that your schooling has to be included in the educational details. No, not at all. Whatever is your highest qualification, whether it's masters, it's PhD, or it's BTech, whatever it is, just mention that, lay emphasis on that. And if you don't have, if you have a work experience, please lay more emphasis on that. So what I am basically asking you to do is don't go into too much detail that the interviewer is bored. Okay, do I need to mention my CGPAs and percentage? Even if you have, scored 95, 97, I would restrict you to not do it, because it's okay to keep some of them as an achievement. You can put it under the head of achievement and then you can subtly mention about how good you are in your academics, right? So don't quote numbers as such. This is one skill. If I talk about the entire interview, the internship, the projects, they hold a lot of importance, especially for BTech students like you, right? If you are telling me that I am a person who has done my projects and I have handled 3 4 projects, of course I'll be more than happy to listen to you, because I know that you have technical competence. Now it's just the time for me to judge that whatever projects you're going to mention, is it that you're going to mention everything in detail, that this function did this framework did this library I imported? No, that's not needed. I am just looking at your intelligence of what is the exact information that you're mentioning in your project, right? Again, going ahead, tech stack is a very very important thing. People mention about the projects, I have done library management. Okay, very good, but with what skills? What is your tech stack? Okay, maybe you use some arrays, you use some, I don't know what did you use for you know the entire thing, maybe some Java libraries, frameworks, whatever it needs. But please let the other person know. I always say this, that the HR is not just there to make rangoli, which is a very bad notion. I don't know how did this come up to on internet and there are memes about it, but he is a very technically sound person, he or she. So please make sure that you are quenching that thirst of that person, that if I am hiring somebody for the technical role, they are there to actually substantiate it. So that is one. Can I talk a lot about my hobbies? No. Should your hobbies be the first part? Not at all. Not at all. Okay. Now, I will not cover the strengths in this slide because I have a separate slide for that. So don't you worry on that. But just one thing that I would like to mention is there'll be a lot of questions on gap. There'll be a lot of questions on transitioning. If there are, I will cover that topic here. If not, then of course I'll move to the next slide. So is there anybody who has a gap and you are not able to justify it? Or is there anybody who has transitioned from mechanical, civil, or any other field into IT and you are not able to justify that? Or if you are able to, then you can share some answers with me so that I can know what you are planning to say. So yes, I will allow 30 seconds for this to happen, and then maybe I'll proceed to the next slide if I don't get some answers, hoping that I will get some. So let's see. Okay. Yes. Anybody? Any gap? No gap years? Very, very strange. Okay. My audience has no gap years. Okay. Quite tough to believe. Okay. Any answers from anybody? Okay. Hoping that there aren't any. We'll move forward. Right? Okay. We've talked about introduction, how to go ahead with the actual basis of it, and I've also taught you that why is this happening, and I'm transitioning from mechanical to IT. Perfect. Then do you have a reason to justify that, Suraj? That why are you transitioning from mechanical to IT? And if you are, then how is it that it's going to work well for you? So all those who aren't transitioning or there's no gap here, you utilize this time till the time we are communicating. Just put your answers in the chat box so that I can see what is the introduction that you've prepared. Remember, structuring is the key, and go ahead and frame that answer for yourself. Come on, let's see if we can get some introductions. I will analyze them right here so that I can help you out. I hope my nature helps you to help it out. I'm sure that will. Okay, let's see. Anybody who's into the process? Okay, so for Suraj, since you say that you're transitioning from mechanical to IT, yes, with projects without internships, yes, of course, that's pretty much possible. When people are able to crack interviews with gap years, it's perfectly okay to not have an internship. It's fine. Yeah. So yeah, I was on to Suraj. Yes. When you're saying that you're transitioning from mechanical to IT, I would like you to focus that though I am transitioning from mechanical to IT because of the dynamic nature of the job, because you have a passion towards it, right? The all fabricating that we do, or probably because you see a lot of growth opportunities here. But there are some transferable skills that will also come with you from mechanical to IT. And those skills are what? Those skills are simply your problem solving skills, your ability to handle a situation, your ability to be empathetic, your ability to adjust, right? All of these things, yeah, they help. Yes, Suraj. I always like the automated things. For that, I'm learning data science because I think uh, this is the step of the way to become an AI engineer. Perfect. Works well. And you can actually substantiate it with few more examples. If I say that if you are saying this, then why wasn't the case earlier, right? So then you can mention about earlier when I was there, I was still exploring, and then when I joined a particular course, be it mechanical, I understood that what it is like, and I was more interested or inclined towards another field, and then this answer would be a good follow up for that. Yes. So, yeah, let's move on to the next slide where I'll be discussing strengths with you. I suppose there have been enough instances where you guys have already handled these strengths, weakness, all of these questions, and I'm pretty sure you're bored of it. I'm very, very sure. So I will try to quickly cover up these two slides that are to follow up, and then I'll move to an interesting question, which is a bit about feedback. So let's see how you answer that question. Okay. Now, these are some acceptable strengths that you have on the screen. There is one important thing that I would like to mention for the strength. I have seen a lot of candidates mentioning their strengths but not giving me examples enough to believe their strengths. If you say that I am a person who can manage time, I am a person who knows how to be creative, or I'm somebody who is detailed oriented, I need some examples from you. Why would I ever try to believe anybody whom I am meeting for the first time, and you're expecting your HR to believe that you have XYZ strengths? No. I would like you to please get into the fact of it that as soon as you give live examples, whatever you've actually done and why you are preaching that strength, I suppose the task becomes easier for the HR, right? So, what are some strengths that you can always mention? These are some on the screen: time management, leadership, good at accepting feedbacks. I will talk a lot about this. Maintaining work life balance, resilient being. What does the word resilient mean? You are able to come out of any difficult situation pretty easily. So, there's some people who take a lot of time and I suppose a lot of support from the environment to actually bring themselves back from a situation, from an unfortunate situation. But then there's still some who are independent and they have the capacity to be on their own foot without or with little help. So that I am talking about is a resilient being. Both are perfectly fine. It's just the type of a person that you are. Creativity, problem solving skills, and reliability are some of the strengths that we have been hearing a lot. Okay. By now, you guys have heard it a lot, right? You haven't been into this regime of question answers and all of that. Let's see how many strengths do you know of yourself. Let's see how self-aware you guys are. So, can I have some quick answers in the chat box, please? Please give me one or two strengths of yours, and we'll see if these are something that are cliched or is it really that you can justify them. Can we quickly start off with that? Can I get some answers? Anybody? Anybody who would like to share their strengths? Yes, please. Not even one? How's that? Okay. Time management, leadership, no skills at all? Or is it that you don't want to share? Yes, please. Okay. I am assuming that you guys are not so comfortable with me, so you aren't sharing. Okay, Suraj. First of all, I'll thank you for being active enough. I see that you are commenting and you're trying to involve yourself into the session. So, thanks to you. Reliability. Okay, fine, Rucha. If you say reliability, anybody else? Good at management of what, Suraj? Exactly what? Are you good at managing the events? Are you good at time management? Are you good at management of any other particular thing? Or are you talking about a very general skill that I'm good at management? And if this, then quickly give me in one line that whatever you've managed. It could be a wedding, it could be a small project, anything. And Harshit, time management. I plan my day and write what needs to be done and act accordingly. Perfect. Perfect. Punctuality, Sahil. Okay. Okay. Punctuality it is. Perfect. So, Harshit, that was a nice answer indeed. You can actually say that in the interview. With all that you've said, it's exactly what is required. Right? Okay. Well, since I'm talking about time management, I also see that a lot of people have that as a weakness. So now for people, I am going to go to weakness, the slide for weakness, and I'm going to cover that too. Remember, just remember what are your strengths, and we'll see what are your weaknesses. Okay, I have literally heard these answers. That's why I am writing it up here that this is the weakness. And I am not writing it just for the sake of telling you that, this is something that you shouldn't be saying. People have come up and told this that I have anger issues. I am an impatient person. Perfectionism. It's good to be a perfectionist. But when it changes to ism, then I suppose it's the area of danger, not only for you, but for everybody. Then this perfectionism means that you will miss deadlines, deliverables will be hanging up in the air, and you will be busy with your perfectionist personality. That is not what the organization needs, right? So, no weakness as such. People don't have weakness. This is the mindset that they're carrying forth. I don't know why. But if you share your weakness, it's not that you're going to go a little lower in rank, or they're going to think that, oh, how is it that she has a weakness or he has a weakness. No, that's never a situation. The more self-aware you are, the easier it is for the HR to handle you, because at times we are just thinking of, okay, if this is how the situation would be, if you don't know where to be improve, where you have to improve, then maybe we'll have to think twice about you, right? So that's what analysis is a must. My family. I understand we all love our family, everything completely fine. But I suppose we can neglect the part of my family because of a simple reason that it is not very professional to say that my strength is my family. Give importance to your family, but don't make that as a strength of yours. At the most critical problem at my sister's wedding, I managed the play of people effectively at home. Okay, Suraj. Okay. Uh, okay. If possible, try to give a more of a professional, inclined answer. Maybe a project that you're talking about, an internship. But if not, then this will also work. But then I am always in position, and I'm always towards the fact that the answer should be a bit more professional than being on the personal level, because they want to analyze the same skill, right? What is the weakness that you can talk about? I just mentioned the word emotional intelligence. It's actually the management of your own emotions. So let's say there's one situation where I got really angry, okay? And that anger, out of that anger, I just went ahead and to any of my colleague or subordinate, I said something so rude and bad that literally hampered his day. The following entire day was hampered because of me. So in that case, I think I lack the emotional intelligence. And if that is the case, I am working towards it, is the answer that you will be giving. So when you say that I lack emotional intelligence, I am, very scared at public speaking. I am not able to question when there is a discussion happening. At the end, I want to question, but my mind says that what if the person on the other end makes a fun of me, or what if somebody else makes fun of me and they don't answer me. Then these are some things that might lead to a bit of these are some things that might actually count for your weakness. Right now, weakness, as I already said, if it's incomplete without it being overcome, you have to mention the steps of how are you trying to manage with them. Some weaknesses are manageable and livable. I'm not going to talk about them. What I'm talking about is that whatever your weakness is, just mention that you're working towards it. But there should be a particular plan. So let me give you a quick task here. Let's see how you guys participate into it. If I say that public speaking is my weakness, and ask some suggestions from you guys, that how do you think I should actually work upon it? So what do you think? What is your take on this? How should I work upon it? I had managed the time of completing some projects and my final semester exams that unfortunately aligned with the same deadline. Yeah, that pretty much makes sense. Correct. Okay, Suraj. Yes. So, any tips for anybody to be a good public speaker? Like, what do you say? What does it actually need from the person to be a good public speaker? Let's suppose I'm pathetic at it. I cannot even talk to two people. Forget about 100, 200, and all of that. I cannot talk at all. I am extremely introverted and I don't know how to present my ideas. So, what are your suggestions? How should I improve onto it? Is there any way that I can improve, or is it the dead end that I've reached? You're not good at public speaking, go back home. We are not going to keep you. Yes, please. Anything that I can hear from you guys? Confidence. Okay, I should try building my confidence. That is what Rishi says. Perfectly fine. Public speaking is my weakness, and sorting it from my day-to-day speaking with multiple kind of peoples. First, overcome the fear of talking. Okay, Sahil, Suraj, everything makes sense. Cool. Right. When I'm talking about public speaking, I actually got to know this sometime, ago, that there's some clubs that are known as the Toastmaster clubs. So if you are planning to say that public speaking is my weakness, if that is what you are thinking of, then try to search if in your city there's actually a Toastmaster club. Because if you're working there, might be the probability is even more. So if you search for them, you will find these clubs which are actually helping people to overcome this fear of public speaking. You be a member of the club and then you participate in the meetings and in all of that, and you can be actually good at it. So I am just suggesting it on a very, very personal level that if you really have this, please go ahead and check it out. If there is a Toastmaster club in your arena too, please start speaking, going into it and start indulging into it. Of course, I started speaking in front of the mirror and sometimes participate in the events where I can get opportunity to speak. Perfect, Harshit. MSK and personalization. Okay, personalization of what? Can I expect that? First, overcome the fear of talking. Okay, yes. So, even talking in front of the camera is not a bad idea. In fact, it's a very good one. If you have to start at a very small level and if you are very scared, then of course, talking in front of the camera helps a lot. So, these are some ways. Now, I've also heard that there are some websites that help you to, actually interact online with different number of instructors, and you can go ahead and do that. So, anything that you are trying to say as an overcoming part, please make sure that there are very crystal clear steps. Don't just say, and I am overcoming it by talking to people. This makes no sense. And the other person is also very sure that you're doing nothing for it. Okay. So please make sure that you're able to convince that I am doing a lot for it. So this is one small request that I have. Every time you go for weakness, please make sure that you do it. Okay. Moving ahead, these are some mistakes that I've seen over the years that they're happening. Okay. What happens is you are elaborating too much on the weakness. For example, my weakness is public speaking. I'll just say one line that I suppose that my weakness is public speaking, and I am trying to build upon that activity by actually participating, like Sahil rightly said, right? Participating with talking to different types of people. Harshad mentioned about the mirror. Absolutely correct. So, all of these are the things that you can mention. uh, there is a quick thing that happens every time. I don't know, is this something that you guys don't prepare for, or is this out of nervousness that happens? You contradict your strengths and weaknesses. So in contradiction, what happens? You go and tell me that your strength is work life balance. I am impeccable at it. Okay, very good. What is your weakness? Ma'am, time management is my weakness. This is not possible. Okay, how can you manage work life balance, because that involves a lot of time management, and then you're saying that time management is my weakness? Now, just by twisting the words, that does not mean the core of the event will twist. So try to indulge into the practice sessions so that you know that okay, this is my strength, this is my weakness, both aren't related, and I am not contradicting it. Also, I said that remember your strengths, because in other questions where I might put you into situations, you might be needing it. That okay, if I put you into a situation where I just want to see how confident you are, or do you take accountability, are you really reliable? I put you in a situation and then you say that let's suppose I give you a situation that you are in front of a team. Okay, that's a management team. You were heading a team of 20 members, and now what has happened is that the code has crashed. Okay, now since the code has crashed and the client is not so happy, the management seeks an answer from you, that what is it, what happened, why did this happen actually? And then some people might say in the strength that my strength is that I am reliable, my strength is that I take accountability for my actions. And the moment this question is put forth to them, they say, I don't know, ma'am, I'll say that this person was not working well, I will mention everybody who was not working. This is not exactly what accountability means. This is not exactly what leadership also means. So please be very sure that your strengths and the situational questions, they don't intermingle, or they don't contradict in such a bad manner that the interviewer points it out to you. So this is one thing that I have seen, I've observed, and I don't want you to repeat, and hence I am quoting it out here. Okay, let's go to this. Feedback and criticism. This is actually now a question being asked very often, because we've seen that now more and more what is happening is that people are thinking that okay, if a feedback is given to me or a criticism has been done by anybody, I just need to accept it, or I will keep thinking about it and pondering over this, and then maybe it might affect my mental health, it might affect my efficiency to work at the place, and a lot of different things. So this is now the question that is asked on a very regular basis, I would say, that what is the feedback, or the how do you handle feedback or criticism? So whenever I say that how do you handle feedback or criticism, I am not saying that you say go and say that, oh, whenever a feedback comes, I am very defensive. Your this positioning of the hands like this, it says that, oh, I am just listening so that I can give you an answer. I am not listening to understand what you're saying. I'm listening to give you an answer. So just remember your body language and your expressions should not be in such a way that they show that, oh, did you really say that for me? No, please don't be defensive. Just be calm and focus. Whatever is the core point, ignore the noise. I say this a lot, even if a negative feedback has been given to you, even if the words were harsh, it's okay. The time will come and you might be able to, surpass their expectations, and the same people will then be pleasing you, and they'll be appreciating you. But for now, just understand that being superbly proactive and right there on the face I'll give the answer may not be a very good decision to take. So chill down and accept what has been said. You can of course question that, sir or madam, can you elaborate on the issue that you've just highlighted? I would like to know more of where can I improve. So that is how you can actually handle the criticism of feedback. Remember, gratitude is an important opportunity. It's an important quality to have. So even if they're saying something bad about you, just appreciate them by saying thank you for sparing the time and telling me about my feedback so that I can grow both professionally and personally. So this is exactly how you will be handling a criticism and a feedback. Also, on a very subtle end, I would like to explain you the difference between feedback and criticism. Criticism is actually that's happening on a bit of a negative level, where they just tell you about your problems. And this is not exactly how a feedback happens in the corporate sector. They'll not just be telling you about the problems. You are not doing this, you are not doing this, you always do this, you are like this. No, these are not the phrases to be used, right? So criticism is anything that is more negatively inclined. When I talk about feedback, I will tell you your problem, then I'll also give you some guidance as to what you can do about it. So that is feedback. Be very clear what is being given to you. Is this feedback or is this criticism? If it is criticism, take out the core points, ignore the noise. And if it is feedback, focus entirely onto what is said and given to you. That is one important point that we have from here. Before I move forth, I will show you, of course, a sample answer for this feedback question. But then I will also pose a question for you to answer. So this is something that how you can handle your feedback. That okay, if a feedback has been given, maybe this is how we can manage it a bit so that we are onto the position of handling it. Yes. So it starts with thank you so much for sharing the feedback. I will make sure that I pay even more attention to the points and areas highlighted. I will take some time to reflect on these points, and if you allow, can I seek your help for the further clarification if needed? So you are just politely asking that might be when you go back home, you are repenting on the points that what did she or he say, and maybe why did she say this? So you are just asking that permission. Can I come back to you and ask for that clarification once more? Like, is that possible for me to do? So you're just quoting that, and I'm always open to constructive feedback. And thanks again for sharing it. Keep it very simple. Please don't try to show anger issues, even if your interviewer is trying to instigate you by saying that he's very rude. The one who's sharing the interview is very rude. The one who's sharing the feedback is very, very rude. He's literally saying this to you. In that scenario, just say that, sir, I think I can differentiate between feedback and criticism. And for that matter, as I said, ignore the noise. Keep the core. That's it. Right? So that is how we'll start off. Now, let's keep you guys at the point of an HR. How would you give a feedback to the other person? I would like to know more of steps. Like, okay, if I were to give a feedback, I'll not do this, I'll do this. So, can I have some answers? How will you give a feedback? If I put you at a managerial position and I ask you that give me feedback, how would you do it? Yes, please. How would you manage to do a feedback? Anybody? If you can give me one or two steps, how would the feedback happen? Okay. I'll wait for some more time. Maybe you're taking time to think, imagining this to be the case only, and not that you're just waiting for me to move to the next slide. I am thinking and hopeful that you will be answering this. How would you give feedback? It's as simple as that. How do you give feedback to your friends? I mean, not exactly that language that I need, but yeah, somewhere close by, I can demand. Yes. Would the feedback be something very rebuking? Rebuking as in scolding, more of you are like this, or more of why did you do it? I need an answer right now. How would the feedback be? Would that be of that genre, or would you like to keep it subtle? So make sure that you are participating. Of course, I will share what should not have been done. One thing that you should never do is giving the feedback and running away from it. Don't. If you've given a feedback, wait for the other person to absorb it, wait for the other person to put some questions to you, and wait till the time you see that, okay, what is it that is happening? So that is one important thing. What's exact the problem? Yes, Harshit. Because of that, what is going wrong? Absolutely. How you can overcome and try to not repeat it. Perfect. If I could have put marks to your answers, Rashid, I would have given you a 10 out of 10. That's exactly how the feedback has to be given. You just need to be a bit more polite, give examples, and you're done for the day. Maybe I'll ask about reasons and make him or her comfortable. Absolutely, Harsh. Even that works well. First, I'll appreciate the work that was done, when I'll point out the things that were not good and my point of view on them, and they'll share what they can do to improve that. Yes, Suraj, even that makes sense. Correct. So, these are certain pointers that I have that you guys have very beautifully written and shared with me. So the technique that Suraj is applying is also a sort of a sandwich technique where I appreciate, I put up a point that's not so good, and then again I appreciate or suggest some improvements, and then I sandwich the information in between, which is exactly how you will be getting the feedbacks in future, right? So I hope every feedback that you get is absolutely positive, but even if it's a bit not, then maybe we can work on it. Okay. I don't know if you've done this question before, but I'm hopeful. Why this company is the question. So you have to research about the company. When I'm saying research about the company, there has to be a lot that goes into it. You have to go ahead with the history of the company. What is the vision of that company? What is the employee experience of that company? What is the press release or the new news that it has been into, right? Also, what is the social responsibility of that company? That even holds a lot of value. So there's one such company who's trying to reduce the carbon footprint. I don't know if you know it, but if you do, if you can give it to me in the chat box, that would be helpful. But yes, so every company certainly is now associating itself with a social responsibility, even it being an IT company, or a service based company. So if you are onto that level, onto that regime, you should also mention that also the social responsibility that the company holds is something that I can resonate with. Core things you've done and what are the things you can make sure of it. You can do it in your spare time. Okay, I didn't actually understand that, Sahil. Was this for this question? I hope so. I hope not. What core things you have done and what the things you can make sure of it, you can do it in your spare time. Okay, probably you're talking about the feedback. Maybe we'll improve the answer a little bit, Sahil. uh, we can, I suppose there's a scope of improvement for this question. Okay, coming back to why this company. About Us is literally your brilliant friend. It's a brilliant friend. Take out the words from that. And when I say take out the words, people have learned paragraphs and come up to me in the mocks. I did not say parrot it out to me. No, parroting is not what I am supporting, and neither I am actually helping you to do it. I am just saying that About Us is a good friend of yours. How and where will you know about the company? Glassdoor, About Us, some more LinkedIn, some more crucial things, crucial sources from which you can have authentic information. You can talk to the people, you can talk to the employees, and then you can get some authentic information of what the work culture is like, what are they focusing on. All of these are the core principles that you need to know about. So please make sure that you are researching well about the company. Why do I say research well about the company is not just for this very direct question, why this company. So now you're going to research about the company, and you're going to know about the company, and you're going to parrot it out, and you'll combine it with your personal skills as you do. It's not exactly what I am asking you to do. Not just for this question, but there might be a question where they're talking about what sort of an environment would you like to work in? You don't have an idea because you don't know about the company. How would you even answer this question? That what sort of an environment? The environment has to be such that you are able to tell them that, oh, I've done my research, dude, and the research is actually very much aligned to the words that they have used. So please make sure that that is one important thing that you do. I also suppose that we have some very subtle mistakes. Is one very subtle mistake is a vague statement. If I ask why would you like to work for, let's suppose, say AccioJob, half of the audience, or at least some of them, would be surely coming up to me and saying that it is a good organization, it's a good company. What do you mean by the word good? What is this word good? It's a very stagnant word. What should I do with this word good? I know it's good. Of course, I am there. I'm interviewing you. I know it's good, but then you have to convince me why do you say it's good. So that is one thing. There is so much that you can say about the company just by going ahead and googling it out, and some press release or anything that shows a lot of interest that you have. So don't restrict yourselves to just basic questions of it has a lot of growth opportunities. What growth opportunity? Talk about a project if you know. If you don't, go ahead and search for it. You have to be well prepared for this question at least. Now some of the people come up to me and say that I am joining this company because my friend has told me this is a really nice one. This is just one perspective, that the employee feedback has been brilliant. Don't just say that my friend has told me. Say it in a very professional term, that my friend has quoted, or my one of the employee of your company has mentioned to me that the work culture that you provide is pretty brilliant, or this is something that we can gel well with. So this is now your share to mention a lot to the HR that I am very interested to be working here. Remember, this question also needs a bit more from you, not just hand gestures. It also needs energy levels from you. When you're talking about anything that's interesting, it is mandatory that it must light up a spark in you. You cannot answer the question of of why this company with the same enthusiasm as you are answering the question of last mistake you made. No, these are two very different questions, and the energy levels play a crucial role into helping the interviewer know about you. So that is one thing. People have been revolving around themselves. When I say why this company, they tell me that I am good. Let's suppose I say that you are being employed for the role of a Java developer, and of course the main skill that I'm saying is Java, right? People tell me that I've been very good at it. I Again, they'll be quoting up the projects, and that too in a lot of detail, and then they'll be telling me that I suppose this is the best thing that I can do, and that's why I think this company is a good fit for me, and that is why I've applied for this company. That is actually the answer for why is this role important to you. The answer of where and how is it moving, right, revolving around yourself, that is the question. That is the biggest myth that has to be broken, that you cannot revolve around yourself. So please make sure that that is the thing. Also, please read out the body language of the HR. That's very important. This is a sample answer for you. It is again from Accio. I've taken up the about of that company, of this company, and we are reading as to what it can look like. Okay, this is exactly the answer, like the exact paragraph that I've put here, but only the yellow terms would be those that I will be using in my answer when I frame an answer of why this company. So make sure that when you are going ahead for any such company, you also highlight some of the words, and you make sure that these words are those that are laid enough importance on. So like we all are well aware of the art of emphasizing on words. So make sure that the emphasizing factor is good enough, and it is done with utmost professionalism. Up till now, any questions, anywhere anybody needs to ask something, anything, please go ahead. I'll give you guys a small 2-minute break so that we can move up to the next question post this. Up till now, anything that you would like to discuss, ask anything. I am more than happy to help you. If not, we will wait for 2 minutes for you to collect all that has been done, and then we'll move forth. So, yes, I hope everything is working fine. Since no questions are coming up, I am assuming that everything is settling well. So, though it's strange, but then I'll believe it. partial. It's fine. Perfectly good. Thank you. Cool then. Okay. What if I take a mock session, like literally a mock interview right here? Okay, what etiquettes? Okay, there are a lot of non-verbal things that you can do before even you speak. Your body will say a trillion things about you. So yes, Sahil, being well dressed is very important. If the online interview is happening, then make sure that the place is well lit. You know, you are in a very professional setting and all of that. Other than that, I suppose a lot of time I cannot emphasize enough as to how much the eye contact matters to an interviewer. So if you're able to look right into the eye and answer your questions, they already know that you're confident. You need not give an answer to show that you're confident. Your body language is speaking enough for you. Using hand gestures, it actually makes the audience be there, still listen to you, and at times helps you also to prove your point a bit better. So I suppose these are some very very important ones. While if I talk about a lot in terms of clarity of thought, the thinking that you have, taking a minute, the etiquette of taking a minute to pause instead of saying hey, or or just blabbering anything as soon as a question is asked to you, don't do that. I suppose that's not very professional. So I have seen I have seen this in the mock sessions, not particularly in the professional setting, but in mock sessions, since we are onto the process of learning, so I always say this, that please don't say hey ma'am, or you are just stopped. I ask a question, you guys are like numb. Now what should I be doing? You are on a video call with me, I am interviewing you. You are not saying, you have not even requested a minute, and now I am waiting. That what is to be done? Are you answering? Should I move? What is to be done? So that is one important etiquette I should we all can follow. So these are some, Sahil, that I would like to suggest for now. I will move on to the next question. And yes, I actually wanted to ask that can we quickly have a mock session scenario? Like I can ask some questions and then maybe you guys can reply it out on the chat box. I don't think you'll be able to unmute and answer, but yes, if you can reply it out on the chat box, and I think that would be a fun session. What say? Are you ready to do it right now after this entire question answer scenario is completed? Can I get some yes or no? I don't know why is it that, yeah, sure, it will be helpful. Thank you, Harsh. Perfect, Harsh. Okay. So I would encourage everybody to participate in, so that at least even if there are fewer number of students, my focus is all on to you. And for that purpose, I will be able to cover a lot of, I suppose, mistakes that I can save you from a lot of them. So if you think we can do that, I will surely put it. Okay, Suraj, cool. So I have some people going ahead with it. Sahil, Suraj, Harsh, and Harshit. Thank you. Let's talk about this work-life balance. Uh, okay, let me give you an answer. Let's see what you guys choose. So this is a answer number one, and the person has asked that how will you actually maintain work life balance? So the person says, ma'am, to be very true, if I talk about work life balance, I think that is something that's pretty manageable from my end, because my family lives very far off from me. So I don't think that I will need a lot of time, for my family. So hence I can actually do a lot of time, give a lot of time to my work. And for that purpose, I suppose that I'll be able to be more dedicated towards my work, and I will be able to give you 100% for whatever I am doing or whatever project I am on. This is the first person. And there's a second person who is saying that how will you manage work life balance? Ma'am, to be very true, work life balance is an important skill for me. And of course, I'll try to manage it. I will be adopting certain techniques. And to be very true, I would also be sticking to the technique of saying a no if my bandwidth does not allow me. So that is how I will be managing the work life balance. And if needed, I will be also communicating. Right. So what do you think? The person one is very correct or the person two is very correct? Like according to the HR. Now you are the HR. Now tell me who is more in a state of being selected according to you. Is it the first one or is it the second one? Both of them are equally good. Okay, person two, person two, person two. Right. Exactly. So actually, it's the person number two who is going to be selected, because people are not, how should I say, they're not preferring people who are overburdening themselves. Of course, there's one reason, which is that as soon as you overburden yourself, the efficiency reduces. Then there'll be 10 number of stress related things that you will be facing, right? Then who will be managing that? So that is again a scenario. Now retention is a very important part for the IT sector. People are not very open to hire in terms of new people, like a set of people are being hired, like 500 of 700 people are being hired. No, that's not how the thing is moving right now. The people are more onto the process of retention. So if the retention is required, it's very important that they allow work life balance to actually settle in their lives. There'll be a lot less burnouts that will happen if you're continuously working, and after a certain amount of time you'll be like, done bro, I'm not going to work on it. I will not be able to handle it. So that is again a thing. Teams are also actually handling a lot because of one person not able to manage out. So make sure that work life balance is something that you're very clear with, and you don't ever mention that I will be cutting off for the work life balance. My family is not here or whatsoever. It's okay if I work here. I'll overburden. Whenever you say I'll be there at your service, no, that's not exactly how the things are to be done. You are a qualified person. You have to maintain that dignity for yourself. Okay. Setting up boundaries is very important. So make sure that you're mentioning how setting up boundaries. There are a lot of employee assistance programs that are running in the company. You can actually talk about them, and you can, also while you're searching about the company, you are exploring it out. You can search about them, and you can have that. Leave policies are an important thing. Wellness programs where they yeah, okay, wellness programs where they take you up into meditations, and they're setting up webinars for you. All of that are very important. Most of the companies prefer which courses, as in which courses, I didn't get that. Can you be a bit more elaborate? Okay, yeah, coming back to this point. So make sure that you are communicating. Okay, work life balance is happening. If it's not happening, communicate it to the reporting manager that, see, I am not able to manage these two things, and I think sooner or later I am going to be in a state of burnout, so I would request if you can do something. The good thing is that the companies are now understanding and they will help you out. Okay, so make sure that you are creating a clear boundary that, okay, post 7, whatever the shift timing is, I will not be working. So these are the technology policies that you do have. So please try to avail it. Don't just stick on to the fact that no, I have to work, and all of that. So we won't be doing that. Let's move to a sample answer of what work life balance would seem like, right? So it's a simple question, and they are asked that, do you think work life balance is important or anything related to it? So they say that I lay importance on the fact that work life balance is actually very important. It is in fact a key component of an individual's rate of growth, both personally and professionally. If I talk how would I maintain the balance, that certainly I'll try to have clear boundaries between my professional and personal time. I believe in prioritization, and hence I'll manage my workload accordingly. If needed, I will always communicate about it to my manager so that my productivity and efficiency are well maintained. So this seems to be a very structured answer where you exactly know what is to be done, how is it to be managed, and all of that. Right? So make sure that you are also sticking on to it. Okay. Now I'm coming to a very important thing, that is situational questions. These are actually the basis of your selection, right? I don't know if you have heard this term ever before. This is a star method that you have to focus on. And for every situational question that I put you into, you have to give me an answer using the star method technique. A star method is simply made for you to ease out the process of what and how is to be said. So we've seen that situational questions demand a lot from the candidate. And I suppose that would be the reason why the STAR method was invented by whosoever it was. So STAR methods actually talks about the situation, the task, paid leaves while working in a company to, of course, you can ask for paid leaves. These are your own pretty much rights, and you will be well informed about the leaves and the leave policies, Sahil. So yes, please go ahead and avail them if you have any, or maybe in the future you'll avail them. Yeah. So situation, task, action, and result. These are 4 things that I'm going to focus on from now on. This is actually where I will be leading a lot of answers from you, and I know it will be a bit of typing, but I request you to please participate, not just for the sake that I want to make the session interactive, but because I know that these are questions which will actually say a tons of information about you, and maybe this is where you guys can overshare. So I just want to help you out, since I can do it right on the chat, so I would like to do it. Let's start with the very first thing, that is situation. What is the problem? First, that has to be identified. So a lot of times when a question is asked to people, when any candidate, they are not very clear with what is the question, what is the problem, that is only not aware. Okay, so please be very very centric towards what the problem is. Then the task is what you want to do towards the problem. For example, if the problem is that I am not able to cope up for a meeting, I am not able to make up for a meeting. Now, what do you want to do? I want to be there in the meeting. One option could also be no, that I want to leave the meeting. If I'm not able to make up, I'll simply make an excuse that, okay, I am not able to make up for the meeting. So, ma'am, can you just excuse me from the meeting? I'll quickly type out a WhatsApp message or an email. No. But my task is that I really want to be in the meeting because I am the person who is going to present. Or maybe there's a documentation that is made and you are the person who has to propose some changes and there's a client coming in. And now the problem is that maybe there's sort of an emergency because of which it's a havoc for you. Now the actions could be, okay, I will first of all, I will try to make it to the place. The first thing should be try to be there. Okay, very very simple, I suppose. Now how can you try to be there, ma'am? So you can try to, okay, there's an emergency, you can manage it with your family members, or if it's in the office, then you can of course manage it with your reporting manager, that see, this is another task that has also come up and I need to attend this one because this one is very very important. And for a family meeting, I suppose taking out an hour's time, or 10-20 minutes, and telling about the situation and the gravity of it also works pretty much well. So you have to tell what is the action that you've taken. And towards the end is the result. That if you attended the meeting, how did it go? Was it that you did not prepare for it, so it went for a toss? Was it that you actually went ahead and put the entire reputation of the company for a toss? Or was it that you were well informed, well prepared, and you knew what is to be told, and you nailed it at the end? So this is what is to be done. Right. So this is how the star method would work for you. Now, before I go ahead, if I ask you that tell me about a recent challenge that you faced, can I expect some answers from you guys? Recent challenge. Please take some time, but give me an elaborate answer. I would request you to try to follow the star method. And probably after this, I'll also show you a sample answer for a conflict or a challenge, and then let's see how it goes. I would like the session to be a bit more interactive. We have the time, we have the space to do it, so let's do it for now. So the question is the last challenge that you guys have faced, or it could be a conflict too. So yeah, assuming that you guys are typing it out, I am waiting till the time I get some answers so that I can move forward. Please give this a try. These are the questions that will be asked. Okay. Not every company is very interested to know about your weakness and strengths. As soon as you start progressing, the companies are more interested to know what sort of a person you are. And these situational questions come up from a theory, which is the interview theory. It says that whatever you've done in your past, you're likely to repeat it in the future. Okay. You're not understanding. Should I explain the entire star method again, Roja, if that's what you are wanting me to do? Or is it that you did not understand the question? Question. Okay, you did not understand my question. My question is, tell me about the last time you faced a challenge or a conflict, right? And use the star method to deal with that answer. Try to see if you can use it, and if not, please tell me what is the point that you're not able to use it. What is the error? If there are more rounds in interview, what are major rounds we have to prepare? Major rounds, they are not such any major rounds. Every round that you're going to do will lead to another. So more or less the companies are now reducing the number of rounds to two only. One is technical for your job, and other is HR. uh, as I said initially, there was also a GD round, or a organizational behavior round, that used to happen in some companies, but that has been taken off, and every round is actually an elimination round. So you have to be actually very good in all of it. So I cannot answer it to be a major round. Every round that you take, You will either be into the company, or you will have a luck that will ask you to go ahead for the second time. Okay. Yes. So now I suppose my question is clear for the conflict one. Yes, please. Can I expect some answers? Star method so detailed that it is taking time? Well, it is, but then yeah, please give it a yes or a no if you guys are writing. Otherwise, I'll at least show you the sample answers so that you're well aware of at least what is to be written. Okay, sir. Yes, please. Okay, I will take you to the next slide, which is actually the sample slide, and I'm hoping that will help you out. So, this is how you actually talk about a challenge where you've mentioned the situation. I will, of course, read it out for you guys. It says, I'm a fresher, so I have limited professional exposure. But a conflict I can recall was when I was the vice president of a debating society, or any sport you can talk about, or a club. There was a seminar we wanted to arrange, particularly targeting the freshers, but because the unavailability of the resources, it was getting difficult for us to do so. Hmm, I went with company two. Okay. Okay, Harshit, I'll analyze your answer in a minute. We wanted that the event should happen on the stipulated date because the majority of the freshers from all the departments had their first midterms coming up, and this debate was a compulsory event since they had communication skills as a subject. We went ahead and got to know that the auditorium was booked in advance by another society, and we compassionately told them that because of the speaker's commitments, we were a bit uncertain about the date. And now that it's confirmed, we wanted to do the event. We went ahead with the negotiations over timings and also a bit over the length of the event, post which we arrived to a situation where both of us reached to a positive conclusion. Okay. Now you've seen the star method where we know what the situation was. We wanted to do a seminar, but there was unavailability of the resource. What was the task? That I don't want to shift the time and date of the seminar. I am just wanting to accommodate it, probably because maybe the guest speaker that is coming up is available at that time, or we've already informed them of that time and we did not know of the commitments about the auditorium and all of that. And then the actions that you can't do anything about it. It's just the negotiation that you will be able to do, and then towards the end we have the result. So initially we were a bit skeptical that we would be able to complete the event in a given time, but teamwork has helped us a lot in this case. Every role was well delegated and the duties post event were also well laid, and so the last task was that problem solving skills and my ability to multitask helped me solve the problem. So by this you are being very clever, I would say, by actually mentioning out your strengths towards the end. Let's analyze two answers that we have. Okay. We'll start with Harshit. I had an opportunity to choose between two internships as both were related to a networking company. I was a bit confused about which one to choose. So I researched about both the companies and saw which one I can learn more and simultaneously add value. So after that, I went with company two. Okay. Okay. So Harshit, just for the sake of saying this, that if it's for the internship, it's brilliant. But if that ever, you are quoting it in the interview, please make sure that that internship does not turn out to be a job, right? Because that is also seen in the trend. Not has happened with me. Any candidate has not done that with me, but then people have told me about it. So yeah, we can talk about this. While also choosing about this, entire scenario, you can also express your views as to what all are the important key factors that you choose when you are actually applying for a company. So even that could be an addition to the answer, Harshit. Well, good job for attempting it. In the month of April, I had my final semester exams, and at the same time I have some projects that are needed to be done. Okay. And the completion deadline aligned almost same like exams. Okay. uh this is a tough task to believe though, Suraj, because how is it that the deadline is aligning with the exams? I mean, the The teacher must be knowing about it. Generally, practicals happen prior, I suppose. That's how it is. But okay. But fortunately, the exams were at some days of interval. Right. So because of that, I worked on projects just after the exam. So for 2 to 3 days, and then rest 2 to 3 days, I prepared for the exam and managed both the things quite well. Right, Suraj. Now that I've read the second part, it makes sense. Correct. So we can talk about the recent challenge in this manner. We also have some other questions for you to practice. These are some questions that you might always go ahead and quiver into. I will show that slide too. Now we are on to common mistakes. It's talking about oversharing in you when you're being too honest about it. How is it that you know you want to share everything to the other person? So let's suppose I say that why was there a gap year in your resume? And you keep on telling me that ma'am, there was a gap year because they laid me off, and they laid me off because I was not so good, right? I was not able to work there, the culture there was very bad, or anything. Don't talk too much and don't be too honest about it. Fabrication is what you have to deal with. That's it. And remember that blaming others won't fetch you anything important. So if you're thinking that blaming your manager or your colleagues or the organization in general will help you fetch some points here, or some sympathy here, that will not happen. We are always against this, that how is it that you are saying anything ill about anybody when they're not there at the moment. So remember that that is not going to help you out. If you are not making an eye contact or the hand gestures, even that is a bad thing to do. Remember the importance of jargons. If you I mean, not if you guys are into the IT field or in going to be into that sector, it's very important that you are able to term up yourself and make up yourselves for that particular regime also. If I am talking, let's suppose I am a non-IT person and I say that I have to store data. Maybe you would like to say it in a more beautiful way by saying I would like to encapsulate data here, or then I performed a bit of manipulations, and then there was some abstraction being done, or I used some data structures, and then in a queue I tried to put the data, or while I was working with the linked list, there was some particular pointers that I had to manage. So you are the one who has to make sure that you're using that jargons with the other person. If you are not able to do it, it seems like, are you well into the process of it, or is it that it's still happening? For example, there's a thing of KT, like a knowledge transfer will happen every time a new person comes at your place. So you need to give a KT, a knowledge transfer. So maybe this is something that you can talk about. All of this again has to happen after you have read a certain number of things. Could be particularly related to the course, could also be some about the organizational skills that you possess. So this is how we are going to cater to them. These are, of course, some questions for you to practice. Please take a screenshot or write it down or do whatever you want to. But these are some questions that we would surely be needing. These are the questions that might form the basis for you guys, and these questions can help you out. So let's just quickly see if that's possible. If I'm talking about a biggest achievement, this I think is a pretty simple question, and I can hope that everybody will participate. So let's see, what is the biggest achievement? Let's do it right in the class. Did I say a class? Right in the session. Sorry. Biggest achievement. What is it that you think is your biggest achievement? Let's see how many answers and what sort of an answers do we have. Yes, please. I am going to wait again for 2 more minutes so that you guys take your time, write the answer, do all that is required. I am trusting you guys that you're writing, but let's see. So every time I take a break, it's good that I sip in some water. Yes. Come on, there's a lucrative prize waiting for everybody, I suppose. Can we have some answers? Passed government scholarship exam at class 7 and managed to get scholarship till class 10th. Okay, that seems like an achievement. Perfect. What about others? So is that just Suraj is listening to the session? Harsh, for me, the biggest achievement is even being an introvert. Okay, sorry. I cracked the acting interview of acting club in front of the camera. Correct. It was challenging, but still I did crack it. Okay. Even that seems like it truly seems like an achievement, Harsh. Being an introvert, it's very difficult to be in front of the camera and be there and act it out. So good job. Kudos for choosing that as a answer for big achievement. Okay. I'm hoping that this is pretty much it for the big achievement question, the biggest achievement. Let's move on to the next one. Has it ever happened that you guys have gotten to the process of salary negotiations, or is it that still you're working onto it? Harshit says, got an opportunity to work with an startup incubation center and present my idea into local TV channel. Okay, even that sounds cool, Harshit. Great. Yes. So, what was I up to? Yes. Has it ever been the scenario that you went into salary negotiations, or you have thought about it? What is the fear that rests with salary negotiation? What do you think? Should you be actually negotiating if you are told about a offer, or should you be just taking it? Whatever is it, give it to me, and I'll go. How should it be? If there's anybody who has some work experience, of course, you can pitch in and talk about it. If you have ever negotiated, please let me know how, so that becomes even more easier for me to put up that point. Yes. No, no salary negotiations. Okay. Do you think that we should actually negotiate salary, or is it just fine, or is there a fear of yes, we should negotiate. Okay. But isn't there a fear that what if the person says that, okay, go, if you're negotiating, I'll take somebody else. I don't want a person like this. Do you think there's a fear that comes with negotiation that yes, when necessary. Okay. When you say when necessary, Harshit, what do you mean when necessary? How do you know that it's necessary here to negotiate? Yes, please. So, I don't know why, but you guys don't have a fear of negotiating. It's very strange. When I first thought of the concept of negotiating, I was very scared that how can I negotiate? That becomes very difficult because what if they say that you go, we'll have somebody else better than you, we don't need you, or something like that. That is actually the fear that rests in most of us. But if that fear isn't in you, kudos, you're already way ahead. So remember this, that they're not going to go ahead with another candidate just because you are negotiating. That is actually the truth. And these are very, very, very rare cases that they actually go ahead for the next candidate. Why am I saying this is also because the art of negotiation is something that has to be very subtly brought, right? To whom we have to negotiate the salary? To the HR itself. When we are underpaid as per the market requirement. Exactly, Harshit. That's exactly the answer that I was demanding. Right. So when I'm talking about the salary negotiations, yes, we should research about the position. Correctly stated, Suraj. Okay. So that is one thing that we should always be, mindful of. That if you are negotiating, they will never ever say this, that I am going to apply for the next person or the second best person, because there's a lot of thing that goes into actually picking up a person or a particular person and putting them into this stick. So that wouldn't happen that easily. Instead, what could primarily happen is that, first of all, the HR is always in the state of saying that, I will not be able to do it because there's a very tight schedule or a budget that we have, and we'll not be able to do it. That is bound to happen. They are not at all going to say at the very first instance that, okay, take your money and just enjoy. No. So then, if you think that, okay, according to company standards, and also that you think that the HR was very impressed with you throughout the interview, when all your points resonated and he was also participating in, you can take one more chance and say that I completely agree, but I do think that my research has said that my skills and the responsibilities that I'll be holding for the office or for the organization would be something that would be demanding something bit more than, let's suppose they quote you 60,000 per month, and you're saying that they would be demanding somewhere around 65,000. So now by this point, you've just satisfied by telling them that exactly what you want. Okay, let's suppose you said 65,000 per month. The HR would be onto the process of then going ahead and saying, okay, let me talk to the people, and let me talk to the authorities. Are they actually going to talk to the authorities? No. They're going to go for a round, come back, and maybe some good HR can talk, but mostly it's just like, we are trying to tell you that okay, we are trying a lot, but that does not happen. He'll come back and he'll say that, okay, I had a word, but we are not able to do it. Now, at this position, when the negotiation has reached to second point of you interrupting, third point is where you can say, okay, fine, let's come to a certain point that can we do this? That maybe after 2-3 months of you seeing how I'm working and my working etiquettes, if you can help and see if you can reconsider my package, and that would be great, so that it will be easier and a win-win situation for both of us. Simply negotiate onto this. Now, what not should be done? If your HR has already counter questioned you 20 times, and you see that he is already frowning at you, and now you are negotiating, that might be a situation where you shouldn't rest yourself into. In that situation, just settle down and get satisfied if you are wanting to. Okay, but if you know that the HR is pretty happy, and you get that by the body language only, so don't you worry. So if that is there, it's perfectly fine to go ahead for salary negotiations, right? Having talked about that, let's quickly go to the last thing that we are planning for you, and that is a quick group discussion again towards the end. To be very true, I will be having a good focus on the chat this time. I already know some people who are very actively participating, but please make sure that if you are even more participative, it will become easier for me to make decisions, because I will be meeting Shikha in a while here in the meeting itself, and we'll be declaring the results. Right. So allow me a moment, and I will give you 2 minutes to think, and then you can put on the. I'll open the forum for you to start discussing as to what is to be done. Effective strategies for employee motivation. What do you think? What are they? Just a minute, and I'll. Yes, Suraj, you do have a lot of time to think about it, and then I will be reanalyzing my decisions. Okay. By taking the opinions regarding decisions making on specific topics. Okay. Effective strategies for employee motivation. Other than that, yes, I am. That seems true. You take a lot of opinions regarding the decisions. There's another word where you actually allow them to take decisions. So I can resonate your answer with the word autonomy, where you allow them to take the decision. So yes, I hope that stands out to be a good point. Others, so I think we can start discussing this, or would you require more time? Please let me know so that I can go on to it, and probably after that we'll be heading towards the final disclosement. I would be needing the Gmail ID of the person who wins up this entire scenario. Yeah. Okay, just allow me a moment. Okay, cool then. So some Okay, so it says appreciate publicly and criticize, or giving some feedback personally, giving them correct opportunities for growth, making them flexible to make work life balance, giving the examples to others, etc. Okay, well framed, Suraj. Okay, right. So I suppose we can start off. Very important part of effective strategy for employee motivation is you are motivated only when you know what is the end result, what is the end goal, and what is to be achieved. So first of all, make things clear for the other person. What is to be done? It shouldn't be the case that I don't know what is to be done, and then there's certain amount of expectation that is also raised from the employer. So that shouldn't be the case. Apart from the salary we give to the employee, we can give some extra perks like a trip. It's also more focused towards the work-life balance. Perfect, Harshit. So Suraj and Harshit are already nailing with the answers. Yes, exactly that. So rewards, incentives, all of these are very important, as rightly mentioned by Harshit. You can also give that. Work-life balance is something that has to be achieved, and it is something that is actually a thing that is more of a responsibility, I suppose, of the organization than of the person, than of the employee, because if the employer gives that sort of facility to us to actually go ahead and take that amount of leverage and autonomy, okay, you can make decisions, you can have that work life balance, you can prioritize things, I suppose it becomes really easier for us to handle on to that, right? So that is again an important part. Yes, Harsh says let them give feedback regardless it being negative. Absolutely, feedbacks are always important. Another part that's important is the transparent and effective work culture, I suppose. If the culture, if there's transparency in the culture, then it becomes even more important for us to go ahead and appreciate what is being done. So that is one important part. And lead always by example. You shouldn't say anything, you shouldn't preach anything, at least in the corporate sector, that you are not doing on your own. So if you're preaching that your teammates, or your members of the team should be doing X and Y things, or they should be very particular about the details and all of that, it's very important that you also pay close attention towards it, and you give that and you show them that you too are doing it. So yeah, that is an important part. I suppose this is pretty much it that you can use for effective strategies for employee motivation. And I will try to close this session here, but before I go, I have to make an announcement, of course, for what it is. So actually the post speakers is one final thing that I had to announce. And for that purpose, I will do that, of course. I will also say who understands the employees also play. A good manager who understands the employee also plays a major role. Of course, Arshit, that's undoubtedly true. That is undoubtedly true. That you need to have that emotional intelligence for the person, right? Okay. Now, to be very true, it was something a very tough decision for me to make, because this was something that was I don't know what was your all of you, how were you performing in the past sessions. So just on the basis of this session, I will be very very clearly saying that Harshit and Suraj were two people who were very actively involved. I could see others too, but then they were in bits and pieces. So, first of all, kudos to Harshit and Suraj for being there and for supporting this entire session to actually happen. Because of you, I suppose the entire session came up to be so interactive, and I would like to give that credit to you guys. So, thank you so much for doing that. Also, I would like to announce Suraj as the winner of this session because I think it's just a simple decision that I've taken based on every the participation in every question and how it was. So Harshit, I'm really sorry, but don't take it as a grudge or something. But yes, so Suraj, I would quickly like to have your email ID in the chat box so that I can take that forth and we can follow up the entire scenario. And we will be giving you the due accumulation for it. If you can quickly give me the email ID in the chat box, Suraj, and then I'll, of course, put it forth to Shikha, and the process would be continued for you. So that was a good time having you guys here. I'll end the session here. I hope you've learned something, and I hope this whatever number of time or whatever number of hours I was here, I did not actually bore you that much. I know the questions are something very repetitive, but these questions still need to be conquered and they still need to be done well. So yeah, thank you, Harshit, for being that supportive. Thank you so much. Suraj, quickly give me my what did I just say? Give me your email ID, and again, yes. So I am waiting for the email ID and post this. The session stands ended for everybody. Thank you for your time. Yes, Suraj, are you providing me the email ID? Please provide me your email ID so that we can go forth with the process. Thank you, Harsh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for participating and being in the session. Thank you, everybody. I am particularly waiting for her, Suraj to give me the email ID. What is it? I had given it, ma'am. To whom did you give it? I don't know. It's not there in the chat box. Let me see. You can just drop it in the chat box if that's possible for you. And the other procedure would be carried out by Shikha and the organization. So from now on, you can get in touch with them as to see what is the status and uh, how long will it be taking. Thank you so much, Roja. Thank you for being there and being a part of the session. Thank you. Okay. So, Suraj, are you sharing it out? How's it happening? I did not find it. I really did not. Where is it? Why is it that just the email ID is not reaching me and every other comment is there with me, reaching me, and I can see you participating into it? Thank you, MSKN. Thank you for being there. I am not able to understand. Okay, it's fine, but then you can. I had given it many times. Okay, let's see what could be done. Let's see. Sure. Can you try typing it out one more time? Yes, Suraj. Actually, I was getting in touch with the technical team for it. That why is it that your email ID isn't reaching me out? So that's why I had muted myself. I suppose Shikha is there. She'll be joining in so that we can help you out as to why is your email ID not coming up to us, because that would be a wrong thing to have done. So we'll wait. We'll wait. Just be a bit more patient, and I suppose we'll be able to resolve that. Have you tried typing it once more, or should we try something else? We'll see towards it also, Suraj, because then this is. I can give you an idea. Oh, of course. You can give me an idea. I can hear your idea, but the actual implication would actually be taken forward by Shikha. So, yeah, of course, we'll hear your idea. Yes, please. What is your idea? And if you can type, why is it? This is where we can split it. How will we split it? What do you mean by split it? I in assignment, ma'am, in parts. We can split it in parts. Okay, fine. Try doing it. Try writing it in the chat box by splitting it in parts. Maybe that's how we get it. Apart from salary, we give to the employee. Okay. Yeah. So it's Suraj. Okay. Suraj 6549 Kumar. Let me see. Okay. Then Kumar @ gmail.com. What is it? Okay. Try this message correctly. Yes, ma'am, you got it. Okay, I will repeat it once for more for you. So it says Suraj 6549 Kumar @gmail.com. Yes. Should I tell once more? Should I reiterate? Okay, I'll still do that. Suraj 6549 Kumar @gmail.com. Right? Yes, ma'am. Right. Perfect. Okay. MSK, what is this assignment, ma'am? Assignment, I should show you the slide for assignment. Is that what you're talking about? The certain questions that I asked you to practice? Is that what you want me to share it with you? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for being there. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, assignment. Yes, yes, the assignment. These are your assignment questions if you want to take them. These are some questions that will work for your assignment. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Goodbye, everybody, and very, very good luck for your future. May you always shine up bright. Thank you, everybody.